Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on an Emirates 777. I'm just talking watches and drinking coffee. Talking watches and drinking coffee. In business class on Emirates. Hi guys, Paul Pluta, back in the saddle, doing paid reviews. This is paid reviews 9 SE8 and a quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing Rolex Explorer 2 Polar. Okay, this is for Brian and it's regarding the vintage minefield. Hello Arch, I contribute $100 to your PayPal account for an express review. I want to know if I should pull the trigger on this or this one. Or let this one go. My name is Brian. I'm currently living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I recently caught the watch bug and have been watching your channel on a regular basis. I've had my fair share of shitters in my life and I'm too embarrassed to mention them. From you, I have learned the watches I wish to purchase, the shitters to avoid. By the way, I like the cute Asian woman on your channel. A suggestion, if I may, you with a fur coat and scantily clad Asian woman talking watches would be a good direction to go for your channel to show the world the true pimp that is ArchieLuxury. If you ever find yourself in South Florida, hit me up and we can go out and have a great time with some Latin mama cheetahs. Okay, down to business. I came across an opportunity to buy a vintage Rolex. However, since vintage Rolex can be a fucking minefield, I need the help of the pontiff. The watches are Rolex Submariner, red letters, reference number 1680. On the dial reading, it says 660 feet, then 200 meters. I looked up the reference by taking the bracelet off the watch and looked at the serial number and the reference number at 12 o'clock. I have attached some photos. Looking at the serial number, it's a 2.9 million. When looked up on a site, indicated it's from 1969. While it sounds like a great opportunity, this watch was worn a daily wearer from a gentleman who had it in the 70s. It was purchased by the guy's father for him as a college graduation gift and was a daily wearer. His ex-wife, who is selling the watch, stated the crystal was broken at one point and it was sent to Rolex to be replaced sometime in the 80s. His ex-wife now has the watch and is looking to sell it. She is my assistant and a real sweet lady, and I want to know what to offer a fair price, as I am sure she is going online at some examples of this watch. In its current state, it is most certainly not a $25,000 watch like some of the prime examples I've seen online. As you can see, it has been beat up and has a good amount of bracelet stretch, on top of the fact that the screw down crown comes out totally when unscrewed in an attempt to set the proper time. Despite that, the watch still works, while I'm not sure how well it is keeping time. In an ideal situation, I'd like to purchase the watch and restore it, but have no idea what the hell I'm in for based on the current state of the watch and what it would cost to get this classic timepiece back into its proper condition. Okay, he then went on a few questions. What price should I offer this woman for this watch in its current condition? Obviously as cheap as possible, but enough to deter any bids from local dealers, or is it too fucked up and I should pass on it? If purchased, do I send this watch to Rolex to get serviced, or do you suggest someone who specializes in vintage watches to do the job? If so, any suggestion for vintage guys in the States? From what I understand, if I send it to Rolex, they will change the hands and replace the dial, and that may be something you want to avoid with a vintage watch. Based on the current state of the watch, how would the pontiff handle it? Do you have a rough... Okay, so basically... do you have a rough estimate of what getting this watch service would cost? Blah, blah, blah. Regards, Brian. So this was a very interesting one. And I said to Brian, this was, he sent me the money. I actually said to him, hey, hold everything. This is so urgent. I will ring you. So I actually had a conversation with Brian. And the interesting thing is with this, I want to analyze what I said to him. Basically, the first thing he said to me is, it's all beat up, it's scratched, it's yada, yada, yada. And I said, Brian, stop the fucking truck. I said, this is actually what you would call a very, very good example. The fact that it's not shiny or bright or things like that, that is to the untrained eye. What you must appreciate, this watch has not been fucking polished. It hasn't been polished 20 fucking times. So to you, it may look beat up, but to a collector and enthusiast, they would say, fuck, this is beautiful. So I said to Brian, I said, Brian, realistically, you are looking at this completely wrong. When you're saying this is shit, this is fucked, no. This is actually an unpolished example. The bracelet's not so good, yes, but most 1680s don't have their original bracelet. So the fact that you have any bracelet with it is, in fact, very, very good if it's an original bracelet, even though it can be completely fucked, because they weren't long, you know, they weren't made like current Rolexes are. I said this is extremely, extremely valuable. I said to Brian, the thing is this is probably one of the better ones. This is amazing. See, he looks at it and says it's fucked, whereas I look at it and say, hang on a minute, this is unpolished. So it's funny, a lot of people, they look at vintage stuff, and if it's nicely polished and presented, they think, oh, this is perfect. No. It's the ones that look scruffy that are actually so valuable. It's a bit like guns. I mean, I'm not a gun expert, but they say in vintage firearms, the worst thing you can do is polish them. You want that patina on the firearm. If you polish it up, you're going to kill the value. This is kind of the same. It's not quite as bad as that, but it can be. So the fact that the watch may look poor to you, that's not actually true. Okay, this is a barnyard find. This is what every collector dreams of finding, is a barnyard find. So I said to him, I said, I think this is a very good example. I said, what I think you should do is, my best advice is to go to vintage experts. You send it to Rolex. They want to bring the watch into as new condition. So they'll say, oh, the dial needs changing, the hands need changing, the insert, the da-da-da-da-da. Hang on a minute. You want to, this watch needs to be lovingly overhauled. You don't want to change parts. You want to avoid, you may change the glass, but you don't want to change the insert, the bezel, the hands, or the dial. Those are the key indicators. So, you know, it's so important that this is handled by a proper vintage specialist. The worst thing you could do is send this to Rolex. Absolutely the worst thing you could do. I would seriously, I said to him, look, I said, I don't have a lot of contacts in America. I said to him, you know, I said, the best people I know for vintage would be Kenny Nguyen from Jewelers on Time. He does Rolex restoration. You say to him, hey, I've got this. That's probably where you'd go. But the worst thing you could possibly do is send it to Rolex. If in doubt, put it in your safe. Don't touch it. Just let it sit. And I explained this to him. And the funny thing is that I said to him, what's it worth there? We sort of spoke about it. I said to him, it's probably, you know, I said, I think this would probably be at the higher end instead of the lower end. I said, look, you can jump on Chrono 24. I said, that is secondhand retail. Okay, so that's what a dealer is trying to get for the watch. That doesn't mean he'll get that, because it's not a completed sale. It's what he's hoping for. So, you know, generally speaking, you could tweak those sort of prices. But I said, that'll give you a price guide. I said, obviously, if it's got papers and a box, you know, it kind of makes it, it's a nice set. Now, I said to him, the box isn't a big issue. You can honestly buy a period correct or thereabouts box quite easily. They're not that, for Rolex, they're not that hard. Patek is fucking very hard to get period correct boxes, but for Rolex, they're still readily available. I said to him, look, the fact that it even has a bracelet, even if that bracelet is completely fucked, that is irrelevant. Any bracelet is better than no bracelet. And the whole, this could be the original bracelet. I mean, fuck, these are very, the reason they were taken off and thrown away was because they aren't the fucking, they don't last like a current bracelet. So they did break, they did stretch. There's a number of things you can restore these bracelets. Whatever you do, don't throw these things away. These are very, very valuable. So I kind of said to him, I said, you may think this is a poor condition one, when in fact it's actually a very, very good condition one. So I said this to Brian. I think he thought this was a shitter one, but no, this is a Barnyard find. This is what every collector dreams of. And I gave him the advice. I told him what I think would be fair. I said to him, look, this is a very collectible watch, and he wanted to do the right thing by the lady concerned, which is fair enough. You know, fair enough. He's a staff member. He doesn't want to fleece her. On the same token, he wants a good buy. So I told him the truth. I told him the awful truth. I said, this is a very good find. And the fact that it looks beat up, that's somebody who doesn't understand this market. So what is beat up to somebody can be absolutely a Barnyard find to somebody else. So it is an interesting thing. So that was my advice on the vintage 1680 red sub. So interesting there. So guys, if you've got any comments, put some comments below. Tell me what you think. Guys, remember, man cannot survive on Google ads alone. I depend on paid reviews. That keeps me full-time on the YouTube. Paid reviews, this keeps me going. So please, if you haven't done a paid review, great way to keep me going. $50 US, and I will will review your collection or answer your queries and tell you what I think there. No, you know, so guys, this really helps me. This keeps me full time. These are custom-made videos. Guys, like, subscribe, tell your fuckhead friends, put some nasty comments below, and until next time, ciao fuckaroonies.
Oh. Hey Archie Luxury fans, if you're into luxury, then you gotta be into 66 Buick Rivieras. Check out my son and I, Alex, as we restore this beautiful 66 Buick.
Neighbors are having a picnic, you know, having fun and stuff. Me, I'm doing cars. It's what I've done my whole life.
David SW. Who does ArchieLuxury recommend is the greatest grey market dealer in America? There's only one choice, David SW. That's right, guys. I've got to tell you the honest truth. I have for a long time been looking for the perfect answer. Who do I recommend people go to see? Who do I recommend that people can go and buy watches? And I've got to be honest with you, the greatest pre-owned dealer for Rolex, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet is David SW. David SW. David SW. DavidSW.com. That's right, guys. I have been looking for a contact who I can very nicely refer people to. I am not in the selling business. Customer service, I'm too old to sell watches. I'm too old. I like to recommend my viewers to a reliable source. In Australia, I've got some great sources. There's Sydney Watch Exchange with Cove, Ronnie at Vintage Watch Co, Shani at European Watch Gallery. And in America, who is the best source for pre-owned Rolex? For all the hot models, there's only one person I would recommend, David SW. David SW, David SW. That is the premier source for pre-owned Rolex. I gotta be completely frank and honest with you. Guys, if you are looking for a hot Rolex model, there is only one place you can go to. David SW. David SW. David SW. Let's be honest, guys. There's no point schmoozing the dealers, the ADs. They're just a waste of time. Unless you're going to buy 20 pieces, you are wasting your time. What you're better off to do is pay the market premium and go to a good pre-owned dealer. Who do I recommend? David SW. David SW. David SW. That's correct, guys. I want to tell you this now. I 100% stand behind David SW. David SW, the greatest pre-owned dealer in the entire United States of America. That's right. The greatest pre-owned dealer for Rolex, for Patek Philippe, for Audemars Piguet, David SW. He even does things like FP Journe. David SW, David SW, David SW. That's right. If you want to buy a pre-owned Rolex, a Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, there's only one good source I would recommend. David SW, David SW, David SW. I'm Paul Pluta, the method actor who plays Archibald Chesterfield III, and I'm proud to recommend David SW. See you later. Thank you for watching this channel.